You're listening to China Manufacturing Decoded from the Sofeast Group.
Hi everyone, this is Renaud Anjoran here on the 21st of February 2026, and another piece of news came up yesterday, Friday, USA time. It's more like very early today in Asia. The Supreme Court ruled that the tariffs that we had been talking about so much, right, that Trump in his second term put in place, not those about steel, aluminum, and so on, those are here to stay, but the, let's say, baseline 10% tariff plus extra, like, 19 to 20% on countries like Vietnam and Malaysia. Recently was announced, 18%, I believe, on India. And then on China, it's highly variable because it kind of is added on those that were already in place under Biden. So it's, some people say 30% or 20%. It's not really 20% now, or let's say until yesterday. It depends. Some product categories are up to 40 some percent and some even higher. All right. And basically all of that has been ruled illegal. All of those that were new under Trump's second term. That's where it's a little bit complicated. People need to basically go back to what they were paying under Biden, okay? And everything that Trump has added, saying that this is an emergency situation and so on, is basically ruled illegal. And not by a small margin, it's 6-3, right? The judges of the Supreme Court. So here's a pretty big sort of loss of faith for the Trump administration. They kind of believe that it might be able to fly because most judges maybe are Republican, and maybe, judges in general don't like to undo things if possible. Now, a lot of tax has been raised by the federal government. We're talking about $130+ billion already with these new tariffs collected so far. Might be higher than that, I'm not sure. That's what I read in the press. So what's going to happen to all that? Now, people are saying, hey, need to reimburse the importers that have paid for it. Okay. What about even the governor of California? Because it's not just companies that, like Costco, that sued the federal government. It's also some states. And for example, I saw the governor of Illinois said that every citizen of Illinois should be compensated because of the higher prices that it led to. So it's going to be a mess. Trump already wrote that it's going to be a long legal battle. They're not going to let that go too easily. They already had a plan. They already had a backup plan. They're invoking some other laws now, and they say that starting on the 24th of February, if I'm not wrong, it would be a flat 10%. So again, on top of what was already in place under the Biden administration, and on top of the special tariffs on steel, aluminum, and so on, right? And that law grants the power to the president to go up to 15%, so 10% and maybe up to 15%, okay? If I understand correctly, that's what they said is on every other country, right? Every product from any other country that goes into the United States. Wow. All right. So what does that mean, right? Is it going to change the situation massively? Well, some people are going to be happy. They're going to be thinking, well, I was buying this from China. I don't know, for example, electrical home appliances, I was paying maybe around 40% tariff. Now I might only be paying maybe 30%, 25%, right? It really depends. Everything needs to be studied one by one. Okay. Now, the problem is so much uncertainty. Okay. The companies that need to pick a place for manufacturing need some visibility. over what's coming. And this is just uncertainty. So they're negotiating these framework agreements. And Trump wrote in his social media profile, oh, this country is going to have 19%, this country is going to have 18%, and oh, China has the fentanyl kind of penalty, 20%, now only 10%, and plus some extra on top of that, etc., etc. And then all of that is just 10%, okay? But what's in store for next month? Because Trump is going to try to find other ways to coerce or frighten his trade partners, right? Because that's the way to get a good deal, right? That's the way he frames it. And he likes uncertainty. He likes to be seen as scary and unpredictable and a little bit crazy, right? That's his words. And so, yeah, that basically that's what I'm afraid of the most. What's going to happen? He's going to meet with the Chinese leadership soon. What's going to come out of that? Basically, nobody knows. Trump himself probably doesn't know himself, right? So we'll see. What I'm afraid of is this sort of stop and go, like in early to mid 2025 last year, where, Trump is going to be elected. Let's be careful. Let's order more. Oh, yeah, he's elected. Let's order as much as we can. And then, okay, things might be all right. Liberation Day or whatever, early April. Stop everything. They're escalating. Really, stop everything. And then, there's like a 90-day truce, like a pause in all of this. And, okay, let's buy as much as we can. So, like, launch productions fast. And after that, stop. And then, okay, you can start to produce again, but not too much. And now, as I'm recording this, the past month or the past 2 or 3 months was, hey, produce. Go ahead. I'm just afraid Trump might try to grab something else to cause some friction in the process. And then it will be, stop everything. And finally, a big question is, what is the US dollar going to do? So far, it hasn't gone up or down clearly. Seems like the stock market went up. Good news for business in general. We'll see. I'm afraid Trump will also try to drive the US dollar down just to make it more expensive to import, basically. On the other hand, the midterm elections are coming, so he cannot do whatever he wants. Anything that might trigger inflation of prices is something that the Republicans in general will push against. So let's see, again, a lot of uncertainty. I think it's better not to comment too much at this point, because maybe in the next 24 hours, some big new piece of information will come up. So let's see, let's keep our eyes open, and we'll talk about it soon. And by the way, for people in the USA, we'll be doing a webinar, actually like an online panel, about refining your global supply chain strategy. And of course, we'll talk about all this. We'll leave the link in the show notes, and it's going to be at 11 a.m. Eastern Time, okay, on Wednesday the 25th. So just in a few days. Okay, I hope to see you there. And let's see, let's keep our eyes open. Thanks.
Thanks again for listening to this podcast, brought to you by the Sofeast Group. We're on a mission to provide you with everything you need to manufacture effectively in Asia, including inspections, auditing, new product development support, contract manufacturing, 3PL warehousing and fulfillment, and much, much more across Asia's key manufacturing areas. Visit us at sofeast.com, that's SOFEAST.com, to learn more and get help. If you've enjoyed the podcast today, please do rate, review and share, because it will really help others discover us too.